Morning, everyone, on this blessed Sunday. Just wanted to check in and make sure everybody's good with the 7:15 press conference. Can I get Richards wanted some feedback if we could take a couple minutes? That's what we thought. That's exactly what we thought.
Training camp for the entire season.
What's that?
Training camp, or will it be the same during the season as well? Or
Yeah, well, that's TBA, TBD.
Hopefully not the season, but training camp is fine.
Training camp's fine? Okay. Richard will take note of that.
Training camp is fine, hopefully not the season.
Okay. That's fair. We have to have it. We'd have to have it earlier during the season because our staff meeting's at 7. So.
We gotta get kids to school.
hey,
Yeah,
the question.
I know the feeling. I got to meet the kids at school. So.
When our questions don't make sense later in the day, I don't think it's going to work at 5:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
How much is Everson Griffen supposed to do today?
He's going to Everson Griffen. What we're looking for is him to continue to progress. He'll be working through the individual drills, and really, Britt Brown and Marcus Paul will lead the direction of exactly his workload.
We were talking to several of your assistants yesterday, and they were just talking about body language and building chemistry within their groups. How much is that something you discuss quite a bit as a staff, or do you just leave that up to the individual position coaches?
I'm sorry, you were talking to who yesterday? Assistant coaches.
Yes.
In a
Body language and all that, is that something that you talk about?
So about building chemistry within groups, do you discuss that as a staff quite a bit, or is that something you leave primarily to the position coaches?
Well, I mean, it's like anything we do when you break it down. It's there's a direction that comes from the head coach, and from there it goes to the offense, defense, and special teams, because you have to have common thread coaching principles that run all the way through everything that you do, and then when you do break up offense, defense, and special teams, you obviously get into the scheme, but there's everybody's a little different on how you go about it. I mean, the game of football won't change, but your coaching principles of, everybody wants to be fundamentally sound, everybody wants to be disciplined, and so forth. But there's always a certain path and procedure to get to that. So body language is something that's very important. Particularly we're talking about offensive football. I know we talked about it a little bit the other day with CD. He has very good, very natural body language, and it's an important characteristic in route running. So, I mean, these are all things we pay close attention to, and it shows up in the detail of our coaching.
How soon before you get YL into shape on the practice field?
I'm sorry, sir. You're going in and out. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry. How soon before you can get YL into shape and on the practice field?
Call. He's LC is. I'm trying to think exactly, what the projection would be. He's going to be limited today. Just seeing him work yesterday, he was, he's getting better. So I think he'll be primarily working with the rehab group today.
You're an out of shape issue.
No, I think he's got a couple things that he's dealing with, and I think our whole football team, had the opportunity to go through the strength and conditioning phase, and you could see that everybody needed it. It's there is a such thing as football shape, so not having a chance to go through the full strength and conditioning, there's definitely some makeup that has to be done there.
Mike, you seem to really mix and match your practice with guys in and out of line. Sometimes Dalton will take snaps to the one, sometimes you'll have back out and some other guys in. What's the premise behind mixing and matching as much as it seems that you do?
Well, tempo is such a big part of the game of football. So, the ability to play fast and react to, all the different situations. There's a couple things you try to achieve there from a training standpoint, it's not only the obvious is the physical conditioning, but it's the mental component, it's the emotional component, because things do come at you fast in a football game, and you just want to make sure your team's ready for it. So it's something that I've always done. And it's really starting to come into place. I think it's just like anything. We didn't have the off season to teach the type of drills that we're doing, and I think the players have done a great job. The energy's been tremendous, but this is really a normal process of getting used to this tempo. And and today's going to be a big day for us because we're going to do a little more than we did when we hit the field on Friday.
Where are some of those places that you'll do more today than Friday?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
In what type of drills or in what areas of the game will you do more today than y'all did on Friday?
We're going to do a little more work in the group and the fundamentals drills, just to emphasize some specific, but we'll still stay with the 3 team periods. So, but the tempo will be fast like it was Friday. I'm really looking for our team to build off of what we accomplished Friday. I was very pleased with Friday's practice.
Mike, this might be a better question for Will or Steven, but I was kind of...
Well, you can save it for him. I have no problem with that.
A little bit more complicated with the logistics of bringing in workout guys and stuff. What's your take on that, and what's your sense of how that might change some of that personnel kind of stuff as the season goes along?
I mean, that's an excellent point. We were having the conversation last night, just talking with Steven and Jerry and Will, and Jerry made the point that you can really work it either way. Do you continue just to do it? Because when you look at the opportunities, once the season starts, when you're just for instance, anytime you brought in a practice squad player, you have to keep them 3 weeks. And now 4 days of that is obviously a player transitioning through the COVID protocols. So those are all very valid conversations, and I think for the most part, when you step back from it, you kind of have to try to operate of the same mindset, and that's really you want to keep as many of your players as you possibly can, and just find the ways to accomplish that.
That being said, if you picked up a guy away from another team and he'd gone through the protocols with that team, does he have to go back through the protocols and you guys are working on too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because really just got to look at it simply for him to be able to come into your facility, he has to go through the COVID protocol, is my understanding. And I think it's a 4-day process.
Mike, you have a game 3 weeks from today. This is such an unusual off-season and timing and feel for where you are. Where do you feel this team is 3 weeks away from its first game, and does it seem like it's that close on the horizon?
I think we're where we need to be, but I'm not naive to the fact that we have to get a lot done in the next 3 weeks, because we're still in the install phase in a normal training camp outline. So, and we really will be in that until we come off the field on Tuesday. And so, what we decide to do Thursday, Friday is important, because Thursday, Friday is going to be more of a review of the installs. But, we really want to get into more game, type work structure, and we're going to accomplish that a week from today out there at the AT&T Stadium. So, but we need more than just a one night. So that's really where the schedule's a little bit up in the air on exactly where we are, because if this week is so important, because we want to come through this week feeling like we did at the end of this past week work, and I'm fully confident we'll do that. But we have a good plan, and we'll be ready. There's no question about that. But just specifically how we get there is really to be seen, because we're evaluating every practice and every snap, and we just want to make sure, because we do have some time at the end of this week in practices next week, just to make sure that we really hit everything thoroughly before we get into an in-season schedule.
Going into the games and all kinds of things,
how much do you want to give some of those younger kids a little bit of an extended look from time to time?
Yes, and that's really what we're really going to start here at the end of the week, and even into into the work over there at AT&T Stadium on Sunday. Because if you look at a normal training camp, we would get through 8 installs and have a scrimmage, which is the normal pattern, and that was really your first time getting into live action. So if you stay on that same time clock, our first live action would be this Thursday. So that's the way I'm looking at it.
When do you expect Jourdan Lewis to be able to practice again?
I think it's going to be I'll probably have a better handle on it next week. He won't practice this week, but we'll see how the week goes.
And how was he doing for you before the ankle?
He's doing great. I really thought he made the transition of the things that we were asking him to do. We're just some basic things from the how we were handled, the pre-snap alignments and things like that. So obviously the volume's a little higher, schematically, but I thought he was having a heck of a camp.
When do you expect Sean Lee to integrate in the practice?
I'd say day to day right now. I don't really have a handle on exactly where he is, but he'll be out there working with the rehab group today.
Why was John Fossil such a big get for you guys next time?
Well, John's an established coach in this profession, and I think like anything, the longer you're in this league, you have an understanding of coaches you'd like to work with. So those are conversations that him and I had when this opportunity presented itself, and he's exactly what I'm looking for. And, special teams is something that we want to be a main focus for us. It has nothing to do with how the team played in the past, but it was something that was part of my vision of the football team, and John's outstanding. I've been very impressed with him, and we've been doing the game management, situational stuff together, and because it's a process I've always had the special teams coach very much involved with in the past. So he's an excellent coach and even a better person. He makes all of us better.
Mike, you mentioned last week that Jeopardy game played on Tuesday. How do you gauge where your team is in terms of chemistry versus where you want them to be?
Well, I think it's really based on experience. We talk so much about, this is a family atmosphere. The Joneses have created that here. You know that as soon as you walk into the Star, it has such a tremendous vibe. So, group dynamics, I've always felt, I don't know if there's never been an off-season program or a training camp where I was not part of having some type of group dynamics. It's really a time to step away and let everybody really be themselves and open up and have some fun with it. So, it's something that's I think is needed, and it's something that all of us enjoy.
What stands out about something you learned about your players that night that you may not have known before?
I'll just say this: if I was 25 years old, I think I'd like to go have some fun with some of those guys. There was a lot of energy in the room, so we had a lot of fun. It's a good group, a lot of personality.
Mike McCarthy the other day, it looked like you got your 2 undrafted. Bill, that's a lot of work, like consecutive carries. Was that by design, or is that just kind of how it played out?
Consecutive carries is about the only thing I got out of here. Can you do the first part?
Yeah, with your 2 undrafted running backs, Anderson and Dowdle. Is that by design to get them all that work back to back to back on either carries or receptions, just to kind of test them and feel them out?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole practice is scripted, so I mean, it's you're really trying to get as much information as possible. So, obviously, I think if you look at the way the running back group lays out, with Zeke and Tony, you got three young players there. So, in all counts, we're trying to get them as much work as possible.
Thanks, Mike.
Good, Rich. All right. Thank you, everyone.